I have a great honor and pleasure to introduce to you one of our speakers. He's Dave Saran. He's a great Canadian. He wrote this book and published to express his love and passion for Canada and his vision. He called it the Canadians' Ram Raj. I'm sure many know what Ram Raj is, but it's the utopia, it's the dream land. It's my great privilege to introduce to you David Saran, who's a Brampton man. He's also a real estate person, and I knew Dave for the past 3 years, and it's just a great honor and privilege to know his heart, his humility, and devotion to the community. He volunteers in many organizations, and he sits on the board of the hospital here. And Dave, I welcome you to speak a few words from that.
Thanks, Michael, for the nice introduction there. I know I have a very short notice, but I had put some notes together. I became a proud Canadian 40 years ago. So my story, which Michael pointed out, I put on my book here, is my story, the story of the country, and how I felt about the country. So I'll take a few minutes here to tell you a story of a Canadian like you. I and my wife came to this country some 45 years ago when we were in our 20s. I started my work in Newfoundland at entry level, working in a mines engineering office. I was faced with starting over, although I had a mining degree from India and had worked there for 3 years as assistant manager of a mine. I liked the place, I liked the people, but within about 3-4 months I found another job, higher paying job in British Columbia, and I moved there and transferred to a place called Cassiar and working in the northern central British Columbia. Soon I found working on the top of a McDane mountain, handling a surveying instrument at 45-50 degrees below temperatures was a lot of adjusting for a young man from India. My wife, who was a trained teacher in India, she also was able to secure a job there pretty shortly. But after working for 18 months, I realized that I should have some Canadian papers to enhance my career in this country. So I entered the University of British Columbia to get a master's degree. The day after I received my degree, I found a job in northern British Columbia in the northwest bordering almost Alaska, a place called Stewart. So I was a young person. I was involved in the design of a mine, and I had no peers there, so I really went on a steep learning curve and was very satisfied with what I was doing there. The mine was being developed under the glaciers, and it was a very challenging project, and it was unlike which I had handled before. So my point is, wherever you go, you got to learn fast. In the northern location I worked, there was the opportunity to work for about 6 days work week. It was good money and was a good place for getting Canadian experience for a young man, for myself. I know these days, even today it's true, that there are eager employers waiting in the north, waiting for people with skill sets where people can go and have Canadian experience and also have jobs. So we got to go where the jobs are. After about 3 years working in Stewart, BC, I moved to Ontario, a place called Sudbury, working for a big mine, a big company called International Nickel, Inco, now LA. So I worked there as engineer again for about 9 years with increasing responsibility, and took internal transfer to a place called Thompson in Manitoba, where again I worked for about 20 years with increasing responsibility, challenging, interesting work. And there also my wife was able to secure a job as a teacher. So We went where the jobs were, befitting our qualifications, and I tell you, it gave us a lot of self-esteem and satisfaction because we found a job. We were lucky to go and find a job. We had to work hard, we had to learn our ropes, so we chased and we chose to go where jobs available. And I can tell you that I was never employed for a single day during my working career in this country. I am lucky, I believe. I know there are people who find difficulty finding jobs in the early part of their career here, but I'm sure with hard work, with perseverance, and learn the ropes, apply some entrepreneurial skills, and there are a lot of number of cases where people have made success by going through this route. So there's a lot of opportunity, there's a lot of hope for all of us here. Again, I would say it helps for us, ourselves, adults, older people, younger people, our children, to get involved in the community, take part in sports, take part in community volunteer work, and establish some useful contacts which can also be helpful in securing a job or even have satisfaction in your lives. As far as we are concerned, me and my wife were always involved in the communities. I served as Michael pointed out, on the boards of a service club. I was also as a chair of a board of hospital trustees, as a community foundation, and several other volunteer work. My wife also worked on the Canadian Diabetes Association. She also was a founding member of a prayer group, and also Multicultural Association. Our children who were born and brought up here, a boy and a girl, we always encourage them to do things like Canadians, so that they should always think that they are part of the society. My boy played ice hockey. He was a Boy Scout. My daughter learned ballet dancing, Indian classical dance, and gave a lot of public performances. She was also a Girl Guide, and she learned piano. She was always active. We celebrated Diwali, we celebrated Thanksgiving, we celebrated Christmas with equal importance. So our children and us, we always were fully integrated and fully were part of the community. So that's how we say ourselves that we are true Canadians and acted and behaved like assimilated or integrated Canadians. While our children have our values, they think and act like Canadians. And I'm pretty sure, it's too early to say though, that and of course they're very well settled now, they have their own children. And I'm happy, and I'm sure both me and my wife, that some of our values will also trickle down to our grandchildren as well. During our time in this country, we, along with many others, enjoyed a sense of personal security, individual freedom, superior systems like school system or the Medicare. There may be some problems, but I tell you, still very superior to many other places. And municipal services compared to what we were used to before. Also, we enjoyed the civility and the generosity of the people during our stay in this country. In other words, a good quality of life. During our travels from east coast to the west coast, from north to the south, we saw the beauty of the country, and when we were seeing the slides today, it reminded me how much beautiful country we have seen, and I tell you, it's wonderful when you go through and see different places, and I do describe some of the scenes and glimpses in my book as well. All these experiences inspired me to write this book, as I said, and I told my story there. The title of my book is called A Canadian's Ram Raj. And what you can say, what is Ram Raj? Ram Raj is a story or a myth dating back some 7,000 years in India, where in Rama's kingdom, people had feeling of goodwill towards fellow citizen, and essentially it was a compassionate and open society. Everyone enjoyed equality, religious freedom, individual rights, and equal opportunity. There was abundance of natural beauty, and it was rich in natural resources above and below ground. People lived happily, and there was a peaceful coexistence. Now let's see. Our country is not perfect. But when we think of all the things we enjoy in this country, I believe if there's any country which comes to the description of Ram Raj, it is Canada. Now there are some people who may not agree with that, and you can ask questions like, are there people who evade taxes? Yes, some do. Are there battered women? Yes, there are, but I think the remedies in this country are much better than anywhere else, or most places. Again, and of course there are things to be done, but we as Canadians, I'm pretty sure there are some people who are not at disadvantage, but overall the generosity of the people is helpful. We as Canadians are reminded of a cultural diversity and encouraged to share it and blend with others. The diversity and the openness of society, if it extended too far, it can be actually harmful in the sense that different factions of the group can pull in different directions, and we are a fragmented country. No, we are not. We are under one flag, and we are one country, and we are all Canadians. It is important for all Canadians to understand that we are one, despite our different diversities. We feel happy and proud that we live in this God-blessed country, and that we are one of the top choices in the world for immigrants, and it has stayed in the top ranks of in the quality of life as per the United Nations ranking of the countries. It is very gratifying to watch our country grow. We witnessed the emergence of a vibrant and multicultural, multilingual, multi-religion, and with much wider vision and understanding. My message to new Canadians is that we are a wonderful country, and please keep it that way. With hard work and perseverance, one need not be limited by their background. The future belongs to us all. And congratulations to you all for receiving citizenship today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dave, for sharing your heart.